Take a look at this. Just a regular pillow, right? But watch what happens when we scan it with this device. See that cloud of invisible gas? That's a blinding chemical. One that gets released every single night as you sleep. What if that's why the words on the page of a book look fuzzy? Why faces blur together? Why every day your vision feels just a little worse than the one before? What if your pillow is slowly blinding you? This blinding chemical is shedding all around you, and you don't even know it. It's there. It's in your clothes, your furniture, your makeup, and yes, even your pillow. And the scariest part, the only sign it's happening is that your vision keeps getting worse, no matter what you do. But it's there, coating the moist surface of your eyes, creeping over your retina layer by layer. At first, nothing seems wrong. Maybe your vision is a little hazy in the morning. Maybe you rub your eyes thinking, it's just tiredness. But over time, the cloudiness doesn't go away. Your eyes aren't just dry. Your vision isn't getting worse with age. You start seeing weird floaters drifting through your sight. You blink, and they don't disappear. You strain to read menus, texts, or even recognize faces in dim light. Then the dark spots appear. Small at first, barely noticeable, but every day they spread like ink bleeding across a page, until one day they don't fade anymore. You wake up, and the world is dimmer than it was before. Doctors will tell you, it's just aging, just macular degeneration, just bad luck, but they won't tell you the truth. No matter how many prescription upgrades you shell out for, nor how many lutein gummies you choke down, no matter how many eye drops they give you for glaucoma or how many pills they push for macular degeneration, none of it will stop the sight-stealing plaque that's building up on your retina right now. Luckily, scientists at Sorbonne University have uncovered a breakthrough method to permanently flush these rotten plaques out of your eyes. It's called the ocular detox method. It only takes 30 seconds of your time, and you can do it while watching Netflix on the couch. And it works no matter how bad your vision is now, and no matter what's wrong with your eyes. If you're farsighted, nearsighted, have glaucoma, cataracts, or macular degeneration. If you see dark spots, floaters, or just have trouble reading road signs. Even if you're almost blind, like I was. No matter how bad your vision problems are, or how hopeless you feel, no matter how many times you have been told that this is just aging, and you should accept it, this remarkable breakthrough means you will soon forget about blurriness and dark spots or floaters creeping into your sight. No more watching helplessly as your vision fades day by day. I promise you, you will see as well as an army sniper, even if you're about as blind as a bat now. Already, more than 67,400 Americans have used this method to clear their eyesight and reclaim their independence, along with elite athletes, fighter pilots, and even astronauts who use it to stay sharp under pressure. But there's a problem. The big vision companies are terrified of this discovery because once people repair their vision naturally, they stop needing expensive glasses, contacts, and risky surgeries. So I don't know how long this video will stay online. If you want to flush out the toxic plaques stealing your sight, you need to keep watching now before it's too late. This isn't just another theory. It's not some gimmick. It's real. It's proven. And it's already changing lives. Just look at what these other people had to say.
I used to panic every time I got behind the wheel at night. The glare from the headlights, the blurriness. I'd grip the steering wheel so tight my hands would hurt. I stopped driving after dark completely. But that meant I missed dinners with my friends. I couldn't even pick up my grandkids from evening activities. Then I found this ocular detox method. I honestly didn't expect much, but now I'm back driving confidently at night. Last week I drove to my sister's birthday dinner, something I hadn't done in 2 years. I could see every road sign, every turn. I felt like me again.
I didn't realize how much I'd given up until I got my sight back. I used to love doing my makeup every morning. It was my little ritual, but over time it got harder to see the fine details. I'd smudge my eyeliner or miss spots with my foundation, and eventually I just gave up. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I also stopped baking. I couldn't really trust myself to tell if things were done or not. And going to the movies, I avoided it. I'd sit there squinting in the dark, missing half the action, even with glasses. But after using this method, something changed. One morning, I looked in the mirror and actually saw my face clearly. I cried. I went back to my makeup drawer that same day, and for the first time in years, I felt beautiful again.
I live alone, and for a while, that independence started to feel like a curse. Reading mail, cooking meals, even finding the right key for my front door at night. It all became a struggle. I didn't want to tell my daughter because I didn't want to be a burden. This method was like flipping a switch. I can read without having to hold papers up to my nose. I can see the dials on my stove. I even fixed a leaky faucet last week without needing extra light. It's not just clearer vision. I feel like I got my freedom back.
The same results just around the corner for you. All you have to do is follow this 30-second ocular detox protocol that I'm about to share with you. My name is Michael Hart. I'm a retired Army vet, a husband, a father, and a man of faith. I've lived a good life. Nothing fancy, but full of meaning. My days are simple. Morning coffee with my wife Nancy, Sunday service at our little country church, and whenever I get the chance, I go scuba diving. But a few years back, I started noticing something strange. It was just a little speck in my right eye. I thought maybe it was dust or a smudge on my glasses. I blinked, rubbed my eye, but it stayed there, just floating. I didn't think much of it at first. I've been through worse. Served my country, carried my brothers through war zones. A little speck, I could handle that. But then it didn't go away. Next thing I knew, there were more of them. Floaters, strings, and spots drifting across my vision like little shadows. Sometimes they moved with my eyes. Other times they just hung there. I'd open up my Bible and the letters would blur together. I couldn't make out the edges. Couldn't tell an O from a D. I'd lose the line again and again, trying to focus on words that just wouldn't stay still. Or I'd look at Nancy and there'd be a haze right over her face. The more I tried to ignore it, the worse it got. The floaters turned into smudges. Then the smudges turned into little dark patches, blurry corners. Lights started having halos. Driving at night, forget it. Headlights coming at me looked like exploding stars. I'd grip the steering wheel so tight my hands would cramp. Praying I didn't miss a turn or hit something I couldn't see. I remember one night I was slicing vegetables for dinner, and I nearly cut the tip off my finger. Not because I was being careless, but because I couldn't see where the knife was. I played it off as carelessness in front of Nancy. I didn't want her to think I was weak. I prayed hard that day. Lord, please. I don't know why this is happening, but I need you. I need to see. I can't lose my sight. I kept hoping that through some miracle it would just go away. That maybe I was tired or stressed or just going through a phase. But deep down, I knew better. So I did what any man would do. I started looking for solutions. Now, the first thing I tried was new glasses, the stronger ones. Then switched to bifocals, then stronger ones again. But the truth is, glasses don't fix floaters. They don't touch that haze creeping in from the edges. It just made the screen a little bigger and the letters bolder, and they didn't make anything clearer. A few months later, I was back where I started. Only now I was out a few $100 and my prescription was even stronger. I felt like I was in a trap. Like every time I got a new pair, my vision got worse. The optometrist would just nod and say, well, that's normal with age. Normal? How is that normal? Nancy and I talked about LASIK too, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. First off, it's expensive. Real expensive. I was looking at $3, maybe $4 total per eye, and that's if nothing goes wrong. Now, that's too much money just to roll the dice on something that might not even last. But what really got me was the extreme eye dryness that occurs after LASIK surgery. It feels like having dirt in your eyes and can make you dependent on eye drops. Plus, did you know that LASIK is not permanent? 35% of people who get LASIK needs a second procedure within 10 years. And the older you are, the more likely it is. So when my doctor suggested it, I asked, why do you recommend LASIK if you're still wearing glasses yourself? He admitted, well, it doesn't work for everyone. That was enough for me. If the doctors pushing this are still wearing glasses, how can I trust it? And besides, it's not like getting your teeth cleaned, it's your eyes. One bad cut and that's it, you're blind forever. I served in the military. I've faced danger before, but the thought of a laser burning into my cornea? No thanks. But the worst, the absolute worst, was when my doctor brought up Eylea injections. Said it could help with the dark spots forming in my vision. Called it standard care for AMD. Then he explained what it was. A needle in my eye every month. I mean, I've taken bullets before, seen men stitched up without anesthesia. But a needle in my eyeball? And the kicker? It costs nearly $2,000 per injection every month. That's over $20,000 a year for the rest of my life. He told me some folks experience burning afterwards, redness, even worse vision in some cases. And all I could think was, this is the best they've got? Really? So I went home that day, sat on the couch next to Nancy, and just stared at the wall. I didn't say much. Just felt that sick, heavy feeling in my gut, like my future was slipping away. Nancy must have seen it on my face because later that evening, she brought something out. This big, leather-bound scrapbook. She'd been working on it in secret for weeks. Said it was an early anniversary surprise. Figured we could use a little reminder that God was always there for us, she said with a smile. She curled up beside me, flipped it open, and right away I saw the page with our wedding day. Well, I knew it was our wedding day because I'd seen the photo 100 times before. I knew it was me standing there grinning like an idiot, watching her walk down the aisle. But all I saw now was a blur. The outline of her dress. A white smudge where her face should be. Church windows behind her looked like melted glass. She turned the page. Remember this? Our trip to Colorado when you tried to make pancakes on that old camping stove and nearly set the tent on fire. I nodded and forced myself to laugh, but I didn't see the picture. I didn't see the pancakes or the mountains, just more colors, more shapes. My eyes started blurring. I blinked hard. I leaned in closer, squinting so tight it gave me a headache, but nothing came into focus. She turned another page. Our daughter's graduation, the day we became grandparents, and family Christmas in our old log cabin. One by one, she pointed to each memory, but I couldn't see any of it. Then I heard her voice. Oh, how come I didn't realize this before? Oh, you can't see it, can you? I'm so sorry. I froze as she placed her hand on mine. I couldn't even speak. I just sat there, this big, useless lump of a man staring at the life we'd built together and seeing nothing. I wanted to say something, but all that came out was a whispered, I'm sorry. She squeezed my hand. Don't be, she said, but I could hear the crack in her voice. I knew she was hurting too, and that's when it hit me like a punch in the gut. This wasn't just about my eyes. This was about all the things I'd miss, the details I'd never see again. I was losing my sight. But more than that, I was losing the memories that made life worth living. That night after Nancy went to bed, I sat there in the dark with that scrapbook still in my lap. I ran my fingers over the cover, trying to remember what each picture looked like. I could still feel the memories, but I couldn't see them. And something about that broke me. I'll be honest with you, I cried. I just sat there in silence with tears running down my face, praying. Lord, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I can't live like this. I need to see again. I need to be there for her, for my family, for the life you gave me. And something shifted in me that night. Maybe it was the prayer, maybe it was the pain, but I made a decision right then and there. If doctors couldn't help me, I'd help myself. I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life stumbling around half blind. I wasn't going to sit around waiting for another pair of glasses or another prescription or some $2,000 injection with a needle in my eye. So I pulled out my laptop, opened it up right there on the kitchen table, and I started digging. I asked Nancy to help me pull up articles and videos, anything we could find. She would read the titles out loud, click on the ones that looked promising, and I'd listen. Hours of documentaries, interviews, lectures on how the eyes work and what causes vision loss. I'd just listen to the videos, letting the voices walk me through things I couldn't see. I kept going, digging deeper. I took breaks when I was too tired and then came back and kept digging. Because I had to know, why was this happening? What was really behind the floaters? The blurriness, the dark patches? And why did it feel like none of the treatments were actually fixing the problem? We stayed up past 2 a.m. every night for a few weeks. My eyes were burning so bad and my head was killing me, and I almost gave up because of that. But then, one lucky night, my wife found something. And what we discovered shook me to my core, as it was the very first step in coming up with the ocular detox method that would help me read books again, recognize faces across the room, and wake up without that awful blur clouding my vision. It was a study from Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. She started reading everything to me carefully, and what I heard stopped me cold. The researchers were treating patients with all kinds and levels of macular degeneration. They had floaters, blurry patches, dark spots, and some even suffered from total vision loss. You've probably felt the same way. I have. Like some days, your vision is fine, and other days, it's like looking through a dirty window. You can see odd shapes, but the window isn't clean enough to see through perfectly. Well, that's exactly closer to the truth than you probably realize, because as the scientists have revealed, the problem isn't in your eyes, it's what's on your eyes. Specifically, something doctors are calling optical toxic plaque, a kind of sticky, microscopic grime building up on the eye like rust on an old car. Obviously, plaque like this isn't supposed to be there, but it showed up in every single patient they examined, causing vision loss in 98% of the cases. And it's all because of the way vision works. You see, light enters your eye and passes through the lens, hitting the retina at the very back. That's where thousands of tiny light receptor cells turn light into images your brain can understand. According to another study from California's Keck School of Medicine, where the optical plaque forms, it blocks that light from ever reaching the retina. It's like putting duct tape over a camera lens. So no matter how healthy your eyes seem, if the light can't get through, you don't see clearly. First you see haze, then shadows, then nothing at all. And as this plaque spreads, the world gets dimmer, more distorted, and more dangerous. The worst part, you know for sure your vision is getting worse, but you don't know why. At first, you blame your age, then maybe stress, tiredness, or even genetics. But just like the plaque on your teeth, the optical toxic plaque builds up quietly, day by day, until the damage is done and things start going black. Here's what really gets me though. When the plaque builds up on your teeth, you go to the dentist and get it scraped off in 20 minutes. When it comes to optical toxic plaques, no one's even talking about it, let alone cleaning it off. According to scientists, it is so thin that it cannot be surgically removed. And when I saw what it's made of, I understood. I couldn't believe what I was reading. It's called PETE, or polyethylene terephthalate, a type of plastic used to make things lightweight, durable, and disposable. Researchers have discovered it's the main component of the toxic optical plaque that's been silently destroying your vision. Sounds like something you'd find in a science lab, right? Wrong. PETE is in your home right now. It's in your fridge, in your closet, and even in your bathroom. It's in the plastic water bottle you just drank from, in the food containers in your pantry, in the polyester shirt you're wearing, your curtains, your makeup brushes, even the cotton pads you wipe your eyes with, and the pillow you lay your head on are riddled with PETE. Now, I don't mean to scare you, but it's very important you know this before I reveal the ocular detox method. Every time you open up a package, apply your foundation, dab your face with a cotton pad, or put on a fresh t-shirt, tiny invisible PETE fibers are released into the air. But here's the kicker. Because your eyes are moist like little sponges, those PETE particles stick. They land on the retina and they stay there. You can't wash them away, you can't blink them away, and you can't wipe them away. And over time, they harden, forming PETE optical plaque. It's like dust settling on a camera lens, except this dust can't be wiped away. With a cloth or rinsed out with drops, it's impossible to remove with traditional methods. And as the layers harden, they create a foggy film that blocks light from reaching your photoreceptor cells, the ones responsible for clear, vibrant sight. At first it looks like floaters, then it's blurriness, then shadows, and finally, those dark, growing blind spots that feel like someone's turning down the lights on your life. And then something else hit me. Between 1990 and today, the number of people with vision problems has exploded. By 2050, experts say half the world will have some form of vision loss. And guess what else exploded during the same time period? How much plastic we use. When I looked deeper into it, the timeline lined up almost too perfectly. Between 1990 and 2019 alone, the world produced over 400 million tons of plastic. That's enough to fill up over 1.6 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. We're not talking about a few wrappers and soda bottles. We're talking about a tidal wave of PETE seeping into our homes, our clothes, our food, and now our eyes. The worst thing? No one's warning us. And no one's even trying to stop it, despite the fact that we're breathing it in, wearing it on our bodies, and rubbing it into our eyes without even knowing about it. No wonder nothing has worked, because the real cause of our vision loss has been literally hiding in plain sight. And now that I knew what it was, I couldn't ignore it. I had to get it out of my eyes. I had to flush out that plaque and all of it before it left me completely blind. But that's where I hit a wall, because no matter how deep I searched, I couldn't find a single thing that actually dissolved PETE particles without harming the eye. Drops, pills, injection, they were all completely useless. I remember sitting there one night, rubbing my temples, thinking, Lord, why would you show me the truth only to leave me empty-handed? But the Lord wasn't done, because just when I was about to give up, I stumbled on something I never expected. It was the very thing that kickstarted my healing journey that led me to discovering the easy ocular detox method that has helped me and thousands of people all across America fix their eyes. It was a Sunday, right after service. I was standing outside the church, sipping coffee from a styrofoam cup, when I heard someone call out, "Hey, brother, that you?" I turned around and there was Jack Harris, my old Navy buddy. But we'd done a few tours together. He was a Navy diver, one of the best. I hadn't seen him in a long time. We caught up for a few minutes, talked about church, our wives, all the usual stuff. Then he said something that stopped me cold. "Well, I went diving last month," he said, "out by a reef in Okinawa. You remember the one with the glow-in-the-dark algae?" I nodded. "Oh, it's still there, still glowing." Crazy how that stuff never gets clouded over like everything else down there. Whole reefs covered in gunk, but those things stay clean, he told me. I squinted. "What did you say? They stay clean?" "Oh yeah," he said. "I read somewhere, or maybe my wife told me, that it releases some sort of toxin-breaking protein that keeps it clear. They even discovered it can break down plastic. Pretty wild." He kept talking, but I barely heard the rest because right then, something clicked. And I remember thinking, wait a second. If this algae figured out how to stop the buildup on its surface, what if that same cleansing power could work on my eyes? It sounded crazy at first, but the idea grabbed a hold of me and wouldn't let go. So that night, with Nancy's help, I started digging again. But this time, I wasn't just looking for another treatment. I was on the trail of something very specific. Something that could dissolve the hardened PETE eye plaque coating my retina, just like the algae dissolves toxins in the ocean. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The way those glowing little algae managed to stay clean, even in the murkiest, most toxic waters on Earth. How they somehow fought off the very kind of buildup that was stealing my sight. So I dug in harder than I ever had before. At first, it felt like a shot in the dark. Just me, Nancy, and my old laptop, back to scouring through articles and medical papers she read to me. But the more we looked into the glow-in-the-dark algae and their power to dissolve PETE particles, the more things started to line up. Turns out, some of these deep-sea algae don't just survive in these toxic environments that they're filled with the PETE, they thrive. Because they release a strong protein that breaks down every harmful buildup on their surface before it can do any damage. Scientists discovered that these deep-sea proteins, simple, natural, and incredibly powerful, could actually break apart toxic PETE particles. In one early trial, they used these glow-in-the-dark algae proteins on a man who had nearly gone blind. The first thing he saw? The painted white stripes of a pedestrian crossing. Now, he can grasp and count objects. He can see shadows, shapes, and movement. When I read that, I sat back in my chair, heart pounding, because for the first time, I wasn't just staring at a dead end. I was staring at a natural compound that didn't just protect algae from toxic plaque, but it was safe for human eyes, backed by research, and already being studied for its effects on sight. In fact, one study found that taking just 6 milligrams of this compound per day improved retinal blood flow and visual sharpness, especially in low light conditions, by up to 78%. Which explains why elite athletes, fighter pilots, and even astronauts are starting to take it to stay sharp under pressure. I had a real possibility in front of me. But I also knew something else. I couldn't do this alone. I don't have a lab, I didn't have equipment, I didn't even know where to start sourcing something like this. So I picked up the phone and called an old friend, Dr. Alan Price, a biochemical researcher I'd served with during my last tour. I hadn't talked to him in years, but when I told him what I'd found, the PETE eye plaque, the deep-sea proteins, the way my vision was slipping away faster day by day, he didn't laugh it off. He just said, "Send me everything." So I did. Links, notes, studies, photos, everything Nancy and I had managed to put together. He called me back 3 days later, and I'll never forget what he said. "I think you're onto something." That was all I needed to hear. From there, Together, we worked day and night, me doing the grunt work, Alan running the science, testing, combining, filtering out anything that didn't have real potential. We didn't have funding and we didn't have a big lab, but we had a purpose. And eventually, once Alan had a prototype ready, I made a decision. I pulled out my savings, everything I'd put away for the future, and I handed it over. Because for the first time in a long time, the future didn't feel like something I was losing. It felt like something I had a chance to get back. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm just a man who wanted his sight back. But thanks to Alan, we finally found a mix made of algae and other super potent ingredients that worked together like a rescue team. Each one had a specific job, helping target and flush out the PETE eye plaque that had been stealing my vision. And together, they changed everything. They didn't work like drugs, and they didn't force anything or mask symptoms. Instead, each ingredient plays a precise role in repairing your vision from the inside out. The first ingredient goes straight to the root, dissolving the hardened plaque buildup that's been clouding your sight for years. The second helps reduce inflammation, boost healthy blood flow, and clear away the toxic debris left behind. And the third, it's what strengthens every cell in your eye, giving your sight back and offering light, clarity, and contrast to your vision. Each one of these compounds is impressive on its own, but together they create a complete recovery cycle for your eyes, repairing damage, sharpening clarity, and protecting your vision for the long haul. Let's start with the ingredient that packs the biggest punch. It's extracted from the Haematococcus pluvialis, a rare freshwater microalgae found only in the deep, undisturbed waters off the coast of Okinawa. For centuries, this unique strain has survived in some of the harshest natural environments on Earth, building up an extraordinary nutrient that scientists now recognize as one of the most powerful vision-restoring compounds ever discovered. In the lab, Dr. Price and his team began referring to it as RPA-1, short for Retinal Penetration Agent Number 1, because it's the strongest compound ever shown to actually reach the fragile cells where vision loss begins. In fact, RPA-1 is 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, 550 times stronger than vitamin E, and 800 times more potent than coenzyme Q10. Once inside, RPA-1 goes to work on two critical fronts. First, it dissolves the hardened PETE optical plaque that chokes off light and strangles your vision. And it doesn't stop there. It goes on cell by cell, restoring photoreceptors, the light-sensitive cells that allow you to read, recognize faces, and see contrast in low light. A 2020 study in the clinical ophthalmology found that just 6 milligrams of RPA-1 per day for 4 weeks led to improved blood flow in the retina, reduced eye strain, and causing a 78% increase in visual acuity, especially in low light conditions. That's why fighter pilots, elite athletes, and even astronauts are starting to use it to stay sharp when the pressure is high and the lighting is poor. But for you, it means finally being able to read the fine print on your phone, seeing the color of your loved one's eyes again, and watching the sunrise without everything looking washed out and gray. Once the toxic optical plaque starts breaking down, your eyes need help flushing it out and repairing the damage left behind. That's where the Eclonia cava comes in. This rare brown sea algae grows in the frigid volcanic waters between Korea and Japan, one of the harshest marine environments on Earth. To survive there, it produces an unusually powerful group of compounds called fluorotannins, which act like antioxidants on steroids. To even be harvested properly, divers must wait until just a few weeks each year, when the tides shift and the water temperature hits a narrow biological sweet spot. Once it's pulled from the seabed, it has to be processed within hours, gently dried at low temperatures, then cold extracted using a specialized alcohol-free method. Why? Because the fluorotannins are incredibly fragile, and heat destroys them instantly. That's why 99% of Eclonia products on the market are useless. However, when sourced and processed correctly, Eclonia was shown in a 2021 study from Kyunghee University to inhibit MMPs. MMPs are tiny enzymes that eat away at soft protective tissue in your eyes, making it easier for that toxic PETE plaque to stick and build up. But here's the kicker. This compound also boosts blood flow in the retina by up to 400%, according to a clinical study on ocular microcirculation. Why does that matter? Because once blood flow is restored, your body can finally sweep away the waste. Think of it like a fire hose flushing soot off a windshield. Clonia cava clears the sludge, calms the inflammation, and washes out the debris. A separate study from the Korean Food Research Institute showed it reduces oxidative stress in retinal cells 45 times more effectively than vitamin E. And the results? You don't just see a little sharper. You'll start enjoying 20/20 clarity again, seeing road signs clearly from a distance, picking up subtle contrasts in shade and texture, even reading in low light without straining. Once the plaque is broken down and flushed out, your eyes need steady daily support to stay clear. And that's exactly what Laminaria japonica provides. It's a rare, deep ocean sea vegetable harvested off the cold shores of Hokkaido, Japan. What makes this brown kelp so powerful is its abundance of fucoidin, a natural compound that binds to the residues of environmental toxins, processed food chemicals, and you guessed it, the PETE plaque that clings to your retina. It also contains trace minerals like zinc, copper, and selenium, which your eyes need to regenerate healthy tissue. According to the studies published in the Marine Drugs and the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, Laminaria japonica doesn't just protect your eyes against the future toxic optical plaque, it also neutralizes their toxicity and helps the body flush them out even faster by activating key detox pathways. And because it's so rich in eye-repairing compounds, Laminaria has also been shown to improve tear production, boost night vision, and keep the retina nourished and hydrated, even in older adults. In short, it's like a deep cleanse and daily moisturizer for your eyes. It's precision healing that rebuilds your vision from the inside out. So, now we had the formula and everything lined up. The research made sense, the doses were dialed in, and every ingredient had a job. But at the end of the day, none of that mattered if it didn't actually work. So I did the only thing I could and tried it myself. Just me, the first bottle, and more than a little hope. At first, nothing really changed. No, not in a bad way, just nothing. I woke up, looked around, tried to catch something different in the light, in the contrast, and the way shapes formed at a distance, but it was all the same. The same blur on my phone screen, the same dull, washed-out colors, the same hesitation when I went to step off a curb. A few days passed, I kept taking it, still nothing dramatic. But then, maybe around day 5 or 6, something small happened. I was out walking when a guy across the street called my name. Right away, that old knot tightened in my chest, the same one I always got when I knew I'd have to pretend to recognize the blurry figure in front of me. I was prepared to smile and wave like nothing was wrong, but when I looked up, I was in shock. It was my friend Andy, and for the first time in years, I could actually see his face. That's when I thought, okay, maybe this thing's got some legs. After that, the changes started coming a little more often. I noticed the bark on trees looking more detailed. I could make out the individual lines again, and instead of it all blending into some brown smear. Window blinds had sharper edges, and streetlights didn't flare like they used to. I wasn't cured, not even close, but I was noticing things, and that alone felt like a miracle. I remember sitting at the kitchen table one morning and realizing I could read the paper. Like, actually read it, without squinting, or holding it under the light, or hunting for my glasses. A few days later, I caught myself driving at night, not white-knuckled, not leaning forward and praying I'd see the lines in time, just driving like I used to. And I'll never forget the moment I looked at my wife and really saw her eyes. They were green, and not just any green, but her green, if that makes any sense. That soft olive shade I hadn't seen in years, and I just stood there staring at her like a fool. She looked back at me kind of confused and said, "What?" And I just broke. I wrapped my arms around her and held her tighter than I had in a long time. I was crying before I even realized it. It was quiet, overwhelming release, because in that moment, it hit me. I thought I'd lost her beautiful eyes for good, and now everything was back. A few weeks later, it was like a curtain had lifted. My world had color again, and everything was clear and sharp. I could see texture, light, and distance, and I could move without second guessing. I could read menus and even recognize his faces from across the street. When I went in for a checkup, my optometrist looked at my chart, then at me, and then back again. He shook his head and said, "You've gone from borderline impaired to almost 20/20. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it." And that's when I knew this wasn't just luck, but a real, tangible thing that actually worked. It felt like a gift. It was a second chance I didn't earn, but one I was blessed with. And I've always believed that when God puts something good in your hands, you just don't hold on to it. You have to pass it on. So that's exactly what I did. We put together a small test group, just a few folks who were struggling like I had. People who'd been told their vision was only going to get worse. And what happened next, honestly, blew me away. I mean, just look at what they had to say.
For me, it was the little things like reading a tape measure or getting the right wrench or seeing screws on the floor. You know, stuff that I used to do easily. I didn't want to give up working on things around the house. You know, that's what scared me, losing a part of myself. But after a few weeks on this formula, I was back in the garage adjusting my carburetor without squinting. And bonus, I haven't had a headache in over a month. I used to get tension from eye strain almost daily. I don't know what's in this stuff, but I'm keeping it stocked. It gave me back my independence.
I used to dread early mornings. The sun would hit my windshield and everything would blur out. It felt dangerous and honestly embarrassing. I tried special glasses and even looked into surgery. Nothing helped until a friend told me about this formula. Honestly, I wasn't expecting miracles, but within a few months, I was driving to work without white knuckling the wheel. The glare is gone and my eyes feel so much calmer. Last week, one of the kids at school handed me a tiny note with teeny tiny handwriting, and I read it without even thinking.
I was terrified I was going to lose my sight completely. I had macular degeneration, and every appointment felt just like another nail in the coffin. My world, it was shrinking, and I couldn't read the musical notes anymore. I couldn't even see my students' faces clearly. My daughter signed me up for your test group, and honestly, I took the formula just to humor her. But about a couple months in, I was walking to the store again. And a month after that, I sat down at the piano and read through a piece that I hadn't touched in 5 years. I cried through the whole thing. This formula, it didn't just fix my vision, it gave me my life back.
All of this got me thinking. If it works so well, how come no one had discovered this sooner? If something this powerful, this effective, could repair my vision so completely, how come this wasn't headline news? Well, the answer came quickly from Dr. Allen, and honestly, it made my blood boil. This formula is 100% natural, made from ingredients like ultra-rare deep-sea proteins, sourced from powerful glow-in-the-dark algae. And that means one thing to the big players in the industry. They can't squeeze a single cent out of it. So instead of embracing something that could actually help millions of people see again, Big Pharma ignores it. And even worse, they bury it, discrediting the scientists and threatening the whistleblowers. They make sure that everyday folks like you and me stay in the dark, literally. Because if you could clear out that PET optical plaque with simple natural ingredients, if you could go from legally blind to 20/20 without spending $45,000 a year on drops, glasses, and injections, you'd stop being their customer. And Big Pharma, the private clinics, and the insurance sharks would start losing a lot of money. It's a whole system designed to keep you blind, scared, and most importantly, paying. Meanwhile, people are losing their sight, losing their independence, their jobs, and their ability to see their grandkids' faces clearly. That's not just wrong, it's pure evil. And I believe when God puts something this good in your hands, you don't hoard it. You have to share it. Pay it forward in any way you can. That's why I knew I had to do something. I had to make this formula available to as many people as possible before it gets buried. It didn't take much to convince Dr. Allen to help me. He recommended we partner with North Hill Nutraceuticals, a research and development lab based in Talmadge, Ohio, and the only supplement manufacturer he trusts enough to put his name behind it. This isn't one of those flashy, mass-produced facilities you see on TV. North Hill's been quietly operating for over 2 decades, formulating advanced natural health solutions used by pro athletes, rehabilitation centers, and even specialized veterans clinics. Some of the earliest blends of hydrolyzed collagen, plant-based creatine, and high bioavailability omega compounds were tested right there in that same facility. They've built a reputation in the industry as the people you go to when you want real results, not hype. So when we brought them the research on PET optical plaque, the algae derivative RPA-1 compound, and the possibility of actually restoring lost vision, their lead formulator didn't say much at first, just studied the documents in silence. Then he looked up and he said, "If this is legit, it's going to turn a lot of heads." Most people still think this kind of vision loss is permanent. North Hill put the full weight of their lab behind it, sourcing the purest raw ingredients, testing for absorption, stability, and retinal uptake, and helping refine the formula until it was as close to perfect as humanly possible. The result is the capsule I'm holding in my hands right now. A no side effect, FDA approved, and 100% manufactured on American soil. Its formula is designed to help regular folks like you and me get back their vision. It has no GMOs, no synthetic fillers, no preservatives, and absolutely zero toxins. I'm proud to present to you OptiPlax. This is the first and only solution that attacks vision loss where it truly begins, at the microscopic level on your retina, where toxic PETE optical plaque forms like rust, choking out the light and turning your world into a dull, lifeless haze. But for the first time, we now have a way to flush it out. Our formula doesn't just mask the symptoms or slow the decline, it clears the gunk that's been stealing your sight for years. All you have to do is take one pill with a large glass of water or any liquid of your choice and let science do the rest. You'll wake up and read the numbers on the alarm clock without fumbling for glasses. You'll walk into crowded rooms and recognize every single face without shame or second guessing. You'll read to your grandkids, see the steam rise off your morning coffee, and notice the freckles on your partner's cheeks again. You'll watch TV for hours without your eyes getting tired. And now that you know all of that, I need you to be honest with yourself for a second. Let me ask you something. How much is OptiPlax worth to you? How much would it be worth to you to never again feel the fear when the world starts to blur? Or that things might get so bad that you might become blind, when not even the best glasses could help you? To look at a street sign, a recipe, or your grandkid's face and actually see it clearly, confidently, without second guessing? What would you give to wake up each day knowing your eyes are strong and that your independence is intact? Have you thought about it? How much is that worth to you? Because I'll tell you something, once you lose your vision, you realize just how much it is worth all along. Now, I know it's hard to put a price tag on something this personal, the ability to see your life, your loved ones, and your future without fear. But when you think about the alternatives and what they cost, $600 for prescription glasses that break every time you sit down too fast, $3,000 for progressive lenses with anti-glare coatings, $5,000, $10,000, even $20,000 for injections, surgeries, and follow-up appointments. Not to mention the cost of losing your independence, your driver's license, your work, your way of life. It adds up fast. You could easily spend $45,000 a year just trying to slow the decline, and still wake up seeing worse than you did the day before. And for what? A handful of empty promises? While your world keeps fading. I don't think real healing should be reserved for the rich, the lucky, or the connected, especially when something as precious as your vision is on the line. So, how do you claim your supply of this formula? Right here and right now? And how much does it cost? Well, to answer the first question, it is only available through our official website. It's not available in pharmacies because, let's be honest, the big pharmaceutical players would push to jack up the price by 4 to 6 times. And that goes completely against our mission. You also won't find this formula in physical stores, and that's to protect you from knockoffs and counterfeit formulas being sold by unauthorized third parties. See, the ingredients inside every capsule aren't your average supplement store shelf fillers. We use highly purified, research-backed compounds, including RPA-1, our unique algae extract, many of which are imported from remote regions around the world, and every single batch is tested twice before it ever reaches a customer's hands. First, by North Hill Nutraceuticals in our Talmadge, Ohio lab, and again by an independent FDA-registered facility. This double verification ensures maximum purity, potency, and safety with zero fillers, contaminants, or allergens. The capsules are bottled using pharmaceutical-grade glass and sealing protocols, so no toxins, chemicals, or heat damage can compromise the integrity of the formula. And we never cut corners, even though this level of quality makes production significantly more expensive than standard solutions. In fact, when it first launched, the retail price was $190 per bottle. And honestly, people paid it without hesitation. Because when your eyesight's slipping away, when floaters, haze, and blur are stealing your freedom, you'll do anything to get it back. And for thousands of people, our formula worked so well, they immediately told their friends, family, and co-workers, and demand exploded. So we found ourselves at a crossroad. Keep the price at $190 and make some profit, or lower the price so more people can experience real results? We chose the second option because this was never about money. It's about giving people their eyesight back and giving them their life back in the process. So, after some long conversations with the team at North Hill, we convinced them to drop the public price to just $99 per bottle, nearly half of what the early adopters paid. But because you're here watching this presentation through a private link, I can do even better. Here's what we've arranged. When you choose the 6-bottle package treatment plan, which is by far the most recommended, you'll only pay $49 per bottle. This saves you $200 and gives you a full 6-month supply, which is exactly what most people need to fully flush out the PET optical plaque, rebuild retinal tissue, and enjoy lasting high-definition vision. Another thing you need to know is that while this breakthrough vision clearing formula starts working right away, the results we've seen on other people clearly indicate that the longer you use it, the better you will see and feel. Dr. Price said he cannot tell patients out of his good medical conscience that it only takes 1 bottle to achieve all the extraordinary results pictured above. And whoever promises results overnight is lying to you. The human eye is delicate, and years, sometimes decades, of damage caused by toxic PET optical plaque can't just be fixed right away. That's why we recommend using this formula for at least 3 months, just to make sure the vision-stealing plaques are fully dissolved and you minimize floaters, glare, squinting, and daily strain, while enjoying sharper vision day after day. And if you are looking for maximum, long-lasting, and outstanding results, we recommend using it for at least 6 months. This will make sure that the vision loss never sneaks up on you again, and more importantly, that your eyes stay strong, clear, and protected, no matter how old you are. Plus, by opting for the 6-month supply, you'll protect yourself from any stock shortages since, as you now know, we sell out every month. You need to know this is your only chance to fight back against the toxic PET optical plaque that's been quietly stealing your sight and ensure it doesn't rob you of your independence, safety, or quality of life. If you don't believe me, see for yourself. How little is being invested in viable vision research and treatment. It can take decades to launch a working solution, and it is not guaranteed it will work for everyone. Along with your custom formula, you'll also get instant access to 2 breakthrough guides designed to help you accelerate your recovery, track every improvement, and support long-lasting, perfect eye health. They're high-impact, science-based playbooks filled with the kinds of tools and techniques that most eye doctors never talk about. The first bonus is called Bright Eyes Blueprint, a personal guide to clearing your vision, your day-to-day roadmap to tracking your progress and protecting your vision for years to come. Inside, you'll find the 30-second eye workout that boosts clarity and focus in less than 10 days. 10 simple progress tracking templates you can print and use to see your results on paper. And the 4 exotic fruits scientifically shown to improve vision practically overnight. Plus, the exact hour you need to eat them to maximize their effect. With this in your hands, you'll never be left guessing whether the formula is working. You'll see and feel the change every single day. The second bonus is called 10 science-backed hacks for a sharp mind and clear focus. Trust me, once your vision is rejuvenated, you'll want the same thing for your mind. This one-of-a-kind guide taps into the same research used by memory athletes, elite learners, and aging brain specialists. Inside, you'll learn the musical jingle that locks information into your memory like glue, a short rhyme that helps your brain make lightning-fast connections, and 3 powerful images you can use to bring vivid memories back to life, even ones you haven't thought of in years. Together, these 2 tools create a personal blueprint for full restoration from the eyes to the mind, to the way you experience the world, and best of all, they're yours for free. If you were to buy each one separately, you'd have to invest at least $200. But today only, by choosing your 6th bottle package, you'll receive these amazing bonuses completely free, and you'll pay as little as $49 per bottle, our best deal ever. Now, if you'd rather start with a 3-bottle package, that's an option too. In this case, you'll only pay $59 per bottle, and you'll save $120 right there. And finally, if you want to begin with just 2 bottles, you can do that as well. This package doesn't come with any of these free extras, but you'll still get $60 off the original price, paying just $69 per bottle. Oh, and for the orders of 6 bottles or more, we'll cover the shipping too. That's another $10 saved. So you can go on with whichever option suits your need. But I strongly recommend the 6-month supply. Not just because of the savings, but because it gives your eyes the time they need to fully fix the damage that's been building up for years, and gives you the best shot at waking up one morning and realizing you can finally see clearly again. But please understand this, with fewer than 470 bottles left in stock and demand surging since this video went live, it's only a matter of time before we sell out. So if you're serious about fixing your vision, if you're ready to flush out the PETE optical plaque that has been clouding your sight for years, now is the time to act. Because once these bottles are gone, this offer disappears. Can you imagine how incredible your life will be? Waking up and actually seeing the morning light pour through your window without having to fumble for glasses or squint through the blur. You make your way to the kitchen, and as the coffee brews, you glance at your phone and read the screen clearly. No enlarging the text, no holding it up to your eyes, no frustration. You step outside, and for the first time in years, the world feels alive. The colors of the trees, the patterns in the clouds, the fine print on the package label at the store. It's all there again. Your kids or grandkids come running through the door, and this time you clearly see their faces. You see every detail, every dimple, every sparkle in their eyes. You recognize them instantly with no hesitation, no guessing, no faking your way through the blur. You're present, engaged, and confident, never afraid or confused. So, if you care about your independence, if you're tired of watching the world slip further out of focus each day, and if you believe, like I do, that your eyes deserve better than glasses, injections, and false hope, then I'd say you've already made up your mind about this formula. And if you're still not convinced, I want you to know that we're taking all the risk here. Here's how it works. If you're like the thousands of OptiPlax users who have already given us feedback, you and your loved ones will be thrilled by the results. And if you don't notice the difference, when you read a label, drive at night, or look a loved one in the eyes and see them clearly again, if your vision doesn't feel sharper, stronger, more reliable, or even if you just don't like the label, simply call or email our friendly US-based customer service team within 60 days and you'll get a fast refund of every penny. Plus, you can keep the bonus gifts. That means you get 60 days, 2 months, to try this amazing formula for yourself and decide if it's right for you. And believe me, we wouldn't be offering this kind of guarantee if we weren't absolutely sure that this works. So go ahead, choose the 6-bottle package, or whichever option feels right for you, and take that first step towards seeing clearly again. And listen, if you tried other eye supplements before and felt let down, I get it. As you probably know by now, I've been there. But this isn't just another vision vitamin with generic ingredients and empty promises. This formula is in a league of its own, built around rare marine nutrients, backed by cutting-edge research from places like the Kobe University School of Medicine, the National Eye Institute, and leading vision scientists across the US and Japan. These ingredients aren't just good for your eyes, they've been shown to target the root cause of vision loss, the toxic PETE plaque, and flush it away in one strong swipe. So I know it can improve your life and give you, your loved ones, the peace of mind you deserve. However, if you're not completely blown away, and if you're not 100% satisfied with the results, I'll give you a full refund. Just be sure to act now and choose the 6-bottle package, or any package below, before our supply runs out. Here's what will happen when you click the button below. First, you'll be taken to a secure checkout page. Next, you'll enter your payment information on our secure form, protected by military-grade 256-bit SSL encryption, the same security used by Amazon and Microsoft. So, you can feel completely safe when you place your order. As soon as you click the Complete My Order button, our warehouse team will immediately start packing your order. In just a few days, a small, discreet package will arrive at your door. Inside, you'll find a carefully sealed supply of our formula, packed with the rare, natural compounds designed to dissolve PETE optical plaque and bring your sight back into focus. Just take one easy-to-swallow capsule each morning with a glass of water. That's it. With that simple, effortless action, you'll be on your way to flushing out the PETE optical plaque that's been clouding your eyes, sharpening your focus, fixing your depth perception, and helping you to reclaim the vibrant, detailed world around you. So take the step, choose the package that's best for you and your family below, and get started right away. Right now, you have a choice to make. You can close this page and go back to life as it is, back to the blurry mornings and grainy sunsets, back to squinting at your phone, pretending to see, faking your way through conversations, always having to ask your kids or spouse what it says on the package, back to silently wondering how much worse will it get. Maybe you'll manage for a little bit. Maybe it won't get worse tomorrow, but what about next year? What about when you can't drive anymore? When you can't read a book to your grandkids because you can't see the words or their faces? What happens when the blur turns into darkness? Will you hand your life over to eye drops, expensive lenses, risky injections and pray something sticks? Or you can make the choice to fight back right here, right now. You can say yes to a formula designed to do what no glasses or laser surgery can: dissolve and flush away the toxic PETE optical plaque that's stealing your vision. You can say yes to the rarest, most powerful marine nutrients on Earth, carefully sourced, clinically backed, and brought together in a formula that took months of research, prayer, and a partnership with Dr. Alan Price, a fellow veteran and biochemical researcher I trusted with my life. You can say yes to a future where you don't have to live in fear, a future where you wake up, open your eyes, and actually see crystal clear. Because this formula has already helped countless people reclaim their vision, their freedom, and their joy. People just like you. The truth is, your eyes can't afford to wait. Every day that passes, more plaque builds up. More damage is done to your eyes. More light gets lost. But right now, you still have a chance. So, what will it be? Will you choose the path of regret, wondering what could have been if you'd acted sooner? Or will you choose the path of restoration, the path of clarity, independence, and hope? The choice is yours. But if you choose to act today, you'll arm yourself with a 100% natural, doctor-formulated solution backed by science and protected by a rock-solid money-back guarantee. You risk absolutely nothing, but you stand to gain back everything: your sight, your confidence, and most importantly, your life. That's why I urge you, don't wait. The 6-bottle package gives you the best results, the biggest savings, and ensures you'll have a steady supply on hand. Click below to choose the package that's right for you and place your secure order today. Thank you for letting me share this incredible discovery with you today. This has been Michael Hart, signing off. I know we've covered a lot, and if you're like most people, you probably still have a few questions after everything you've seen in this video, and that's perfectly normal. So before you make your decision, let me take a moment to answer some of the most common questions I've received, person to person, just like we've been talking all along. Elaine from Nevada asks, can you explain the science behind this again? I've tried other vision products before and they didn't work, and I want to make sure I'm making the right choice here. Great question, Elaine. And believe me, I was skeptical too. Most eye products just throw in some generic vitamins and hope for the best. But this formula is different. It's the only one I've found that targets the real root cause of poor vision and vision loss: PETE optical plaque. This plaque is a toxic plastic buildup that covers your retina and chokes off blood flow to the cells responsible for vision. This formula was designed with the help of Dr. Alan Price, a biochemical researcher I served with in the military. Together, we created a blend of 3 rare, potent ingredients, among which is a glow-in-the-dark algae that work together to dissolve and flush away the plaque, reduce inflammation, fix circulation, and help bring your vision back into focus. It's for this reason that bottles of this formula are flying out of our warehouse. Truthfully, I'm not sure how much longer we'll have stock for. So if you're interested, I highly recommend choosing the package that fits you best. George from Ohio asks, how do I take this? Is it a liquid or a pill? I've got enough complicated stuff in my life already. Totally understand, George. We kept this incredibly simple. It's just 1 small capsule per day, taken with a glass of water. That's it. No mixing, no droppers, no funky tasting powders. And if you choose the 6-bottle option, you'll have a full 6-month supply on hand. No interruptions and no reordering stress. Plus, compared to the $45,000 a year most folks spend on eye drops, glasses, and repeat prescriptions, this ends up being less than $2 a day. And it actually goes after the root cause. Martha from Florida asks, are there any side effects I should worry about? I'm sensitive to a lot of medications. That's a smart question, Martha. And here's the good news. This formula is made from 100% natural, non-GMO ingredients with no artificial preservatives, stimulants, or harmful chemicals. It's produced by North Hill Nutraceuticals in Talmadge, Ohio, in a GMP-certified facility that follows the strictest safety, purity, and quality standards in the country. Most folks who take the formula report positive side benefits, like fewer headaches, reduced eye strain, and even better sleep, thanks to the anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. But of course, if you have specific allergies or on medications, it's always smart to check with your doctor first. Calvin from Texas asks, how do I know it'll work for me? I feel like I've tried everything. Calvin, I hear you loud and clear. I was right there with you, but this formula isn't some recycled vitamin brand. It's based on the latest research from respected institutions like the National Eye Institute and Kobe University in Japan. It's already helped thousands of people regain clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. And we always recommend the 6-bottle package because the longer you stay on the formula, the better your results. Most folks start seeing improvements in the first few weeks, but real, lasting change happens over time. That's when the magic really kicks in. Diana from Michigan asks, can you remind me about the guarantee again? I just want to make sure I'm not taking a risk here. Absolutely, Diana, and I don't blame you for asking. You're covered by a 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not thrilled by how much clearer your vision becomes, if you don't feel more confident driving, reading, or looking at your loved one in the eyes, just let us know, and you'll get every penny back. You have 60 days to try this incredible formula. You risk nothing by giving this a try. But if it works like it has for so many others, you stand to get your vision and your life back. So claim your supply right now. Go ahead, choose your package below this video now. Choose the 3 or 6-pack for the most savings and the biggest discount. It's very easy. Just click the button below now and go to our secure order checkout page. Enter your information and we'll immediately get to work shipping the bottles right to your doorstep.